Drop that beat.
Drop that beat.
Drop that beat.
Drop that beat.
Let's drop that beat.
Let's drop that beat.
Drop that beat.
Drop that biggity beat.
SELLERCLUB, where the power ignites. Flip stories, dreams in flight. Horns screaming, sacks on fire. SELLERCLUB, take it higher. We rise, we cry.
Yo, yo, yo. You ready?
What is up?
100.
It's up.
100.
The 100th episode is up, guys. Right now.
100.
3-figure podcasters.
It started,
Right?
what, October 3rd, 2023?
Oh,
Yeah.
how do
Is
you
that
know?
the exact date?
Wow. Not nostalgic or anything.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
ChatGPT knows all.
Isn't that
Oh.
wild, though? I feel like it's just flown by.
It feels like a year. I keep saying like it's only been our first year. I feel like I've said that and I had to correct myself. It's 2025.
Yeah.
Wow. If we did like 3 episodes a day.
We'd be there. A day, your math ain't mathing.
I know. It's early. It's public math is always dangerous, you know?
That is true though. So,
That'd be 1,000.
it'll be a little special episode today because we get to kind of go through time or the timeline or the different episodes. But I'll give it to the person that's the most organized and trying to get our
Who's
thoughts
the worst
together.
at math?
You take over, Anna.
Okay, well, first I'm going to correct myself and say what I was trying to say was every third day. A podcast episode every third day. And I said it completely backwards, which is totally on point for me. So, yeah, guys, let's look back over these 100 episodes. And now, mind you, these are the 100 full-length episodes. That's not
Yep.
even including our mini episodes, which we've done a few series of over the last few years. And those are really fun, but they're different, right? They're a
Yep.
different energy and a different type of content. So these are just like the main episodes with a capital E. But I think we have so much to be proud of. We have definitely overcome some things, even on just a week in, week out basis to put out these episodes every week. And we've also had some really extraordinary experiences with this podcast and different
Right.
opportunities, and we've gotten to do some really cool stuff. So I think first we should kind of look back at all of that. But what would you say, and we'll just like freely discuss this, you know, as you think of it, but what would you say have been like the biggest challenges from your perspective and your role in the podcast?
Well, I guess I could go first. Part of my role is I do all the editing work, and I basically do the, pull the recording, audio and stuff like that, and basically do the social media, which I think has been the challenge from the social media person that does a lot of social media.
I was going to say, you're very well suited for that role.
So, yeah, it's been challenging because it was a new undertaking. It's not like I have not familiar with the process of editing, but it's more of like this is long form, which I really didn't kind of like take that into account, because if there was like any buzz or any clicks or anything, I had to sweep through a full episode to like find those. Which actually a funny story. Our episode 99, my mic really messed up. So half of the episode 99, it was recorded using my webcam, which actually is RIP now because I disconnected that thing.
Oh
and
my
basically-
gosh. Because
Yeah.
it like hijacked your audio feed. You didn't even know what was
Yeah,
happening.
I didn't know it. And then we caught it halfway through. So halfway through episode 99, it was like crappy audio for my mic, and then it went better. So I think that was the challenge. And just to begin with, like we had to, find a way to sync our levels and the quality of our mic. So, we overcame that by buying the same mics. which I'm already thinking about upgrading to the next one. How to get better from this. So that's kind of like the challenge. It's more like the technical
Oh yeah.
stuff. So you guys probably have heard, like, as far as like the conversational stuff. I mean, I'm always down to chop it up. So that was kind of like, that came easy.
That's
but
like the easy part. Yeah.
yeah. So it was definitely that. So I've really, for 100 episodes down my belt, I think I could comfortably say now that, pretty well versed with podcast editing software and just continuously learning from
Yeah.
it.
You've done a great job. I used to
Yeah,
edit a
definitely.
podcast. It is hard work.
Yeah.
And of course, you're really good at streamlining, and you're a little bit of a gearhead, way more than me. So you know the best stuff to use. But even with that, you have to have skills, you have to have consistency, you have to care about it, you have to do it all the time. So thank you for serving the podcast that way, Ken, because you really have crushed it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Love it.
I would say for me, definitely number one is timing. My timing is bad because there's just so many other like randomness that happens with, I don't know, of course, like having 3 full-time sellers.
Yeah.
Like anything could happen at any
Oh,
time.
and does.
Yeah, and does.
Like, we try to have a set time that we record, and yeah, it always has to be like confirmed and double checked every single week because everything's in flux for all 3 of us. Yeah, I totally second that.
And I think that we're like, at one point, I think we were pretty good in having like timing done because we knew that, hey, Anna's going out of town, Ken's going out of town, or like, especially a lot of these like eBay trips or things that come up, and then how do we prepare for that? So you have to really balance out scheduling, and it does get difficult after a while,
Mm-hmm.
And with the businesses being there, not like you can just stop everything and, well, I mean, if the podcast ended up getting super huge, all you do is record, but then you're not really selling on eBay anymore. You talk about eBay and then you're not selling, you're just making money on the podcast.
Right.
It's a different story too.
This is the content creators catch-22, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Like, you don't even sell on there anymore. How can you even talk about it?
Right. Which means we just have to keep doing all of it. We just have to
Exactly.
do it all the time. Yeah.
So I think time, I think I've probably struggled with a little bit more than I think Ken and Anna on that point. I think they're always on point and organized, ready to go. And
Glad it looks that way.
and I think the other thing would be, I mean, the Hustler Hacks episodes are always fun. I feel like it feels just like regular going live on Wednesday days, where
Yeah. You could
know.
do those in your sleep. You don't. And you don't phone it in. You're always like at 100% when you're doing those. But yeah, you're like, that is your wheelhouse for sure.
Yeah,
I love
So I think,
those.
I think those are like the stronger points, and then the timing are maybe my weakest point. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
Love it. Yeah, I totally agree about the time. I mean, just time management in general, running, wearing lots of hats, running businesses, but also literally we're in 3 different time zones, and sometimes your girl is still not very good at time zone math even after 100 episodes. So I don't know how my brain is wired, but I am really bad at that, and I regularly get it backwards. But it's okay. I also don't mind not having an exactly same set time every week because I like flexibility. That's a very high value for me. So I don't mind that it's, that it changes or that we have to regroup sometimes. That's totally fine with me. It's worth all of the freedom and flexibility that I get to have in my life overall to not live a super regimented kind of schedule that's the same every week. So that part works for me, but it is it takes management, right? We have to communicate about it all the time and make sure that we're on the same page and stuff, which is great. And we work really well together, I think. So I don't think it's a problem, but it is a challenge for sure because
Yeah, for sure.
we got to regroup every week about it. But it's worth it to bring the podcast to life, right? And to put out these episodes every week. I'm really proud of how consistent we've been with it. And
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest thing, to reach 100.
yeah.
It's for me, right? Because when we're that 100 episode number, if you compare it to sales, it's easy to get $100 in sales. It's easy to spend $100. It's it's easy to price something at 100, or probably easy to list 100 items now. But when you say 100 episode, like it's such a small 3-digit figure, but the hours that's put in
Oh.
there is
Yeah.
I feel like it's like times 10 in the back end, you know? So
It totally is. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's another, like, one of my kind of roles with the podcast is looking at the 30,000 foot view sometimes, strategizing a little bit, sometimes making outlines or kind of, looking ahead. And we all collaborate on that too. But, I'm the one who's like got to put it in a spreadsheet so I can understand it. So
No.
that's how it ends up in a spreadsheet for us to like literally be on the same page together and know what's coming up and whatever. But also, we have to be like fluid with what's happening in the reselling world too.
Right.
So that also gets shuffled up sometimes, which is okay. But I think for me, one of the biggest challenges, there's really two that I can think of that are not related to the logistics as much. And one is that, we started this with this kind of heart for our reselling community, and we want to be a resource for the reselling community, and we want to connect with the reselling community. But a podcast all by itself, in and of itself, is like kind of a one-way street, right?
Right,
or
right.
at best, it's like an asynchronous two-way street. So, we can, and we do, like, we talk to our reselling friends all the time. We hear from people who listen to the podcast, and we have exchanges with them in various other ways. But the podcast itself is not like a live radio show with a phone line,
Right.
So there's this, like, desire to connect with the community that just by virtue of the nature of podcasting can be challenging at times. But I think, and we'll definitely peek more into this later, but I think there's a lot that we can do on that front now that we're like a very well established podcast,
Yep.
One thing I thought would be challenging that has never been challenging at all so far is like, I thought in the beginning, oh my gosh, what if we run out of things to talk about? I don't think that's ever going to happen. So we will keep rolling with that. But I think the other thing too that was challenging for me just personally was, the times, the ups and downs. Like this last 100 episodes represents two of the most like unpredictable, weird years of my store. Like it just happened to coincide with that. And so there have been times where it's like, man, my business is like not doing as well as I want. I can't figure out how to solve it. It's stressful, it's slow sales, whatever. At different times, like I said, lots of up and downs, but no matter what's going on in my own personal business, like I still gotta show up for the podcast and like not let that color my entire perspective on whatever we're talking about, right? Because those things are temporary, but the stuff that we talk about on the podcast is like generally applicable no matter what's going on in your store, right? So I always learn a lot from you guys, and that's probably helped my store a lot in the last 100 episodes. But sometimes it is hard to show up and, have a personality and have a positive attitude and talk about stuff when my brain just wants to like stress out about something else and be preoccupied.
Yep, that's true. Challenges. I mean, anything worth, anything that's worth something or anything that's big, I think is going to have challenges that is going to be, have to be overcome. And which I think, there hasn't been really like some impossible challenges. What do you think, Glenn? Like as far as challenges, like how do you see that and how we've overcome some or how we're trying to overcome the new ones that will arise?
I guess that's what comes with like being a full-time reseller, that we kind of really don't know what kind of things could happen. And Ken made a good point on one of the episodes too, just kind of knowing when to pivot, like so I think a lot of the 100 episodes is like, I'm really just doing good on Whatnot and not really doing things on eBay. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm doing all these like jersey things on eBay, but now I'm trying to scale back on Whatnot. And then I went deeper into Whatnot, and then I went deeper into eBay. I don't know, I'm trying to do both. And so like, I guess we don't really know what's going to happen on the 100, but that's just kind of what comes with the business. Like you're always trying new things and seeing like what's working out, and sometimes like sourcing somewhere is working and it's working really well, and then it's not, and then you're like, okay, well now what do I do? And then like another opportunity could come out of nowhere that,
Oh yeah.
hey, we have this, we have that, and then they're asking to see if you're interested in 500 pieces, or so that's kind of another thrill of it too, that I think people that are really, really trying to have just like a bigger store and bigger inventory rather than maybe just going to stores here and there and coming home empty-handed, is like the saddest part. But at least here, if you're like a big bundle or a big lot or something that you could buy from a company or somebody, like those are really exciting all the time.
Yeah. I think this is really helpful also that we just so happen to track, the last couple of years of our own journeys.
Right.
And honestly, like the accountability of knowing we're going to do an episode every week and checking in with each other. Like, I'm planning on at some point, when I have time, planning on some point writing like a sequel to my book, because I wrote that book right at the beginning of 2020 before anything was locked down. And I can't even tell you how many things about my business have changed since that time. And for the better and the worse, and just general circumstances like that have changed. So I think it's going to be helpful for me to go back through some of the podcasts and track those changes, because we talked every week about stuff, even if, just at the beginning of the episode or whatever, checking in about what we're doing this week, or what's changing, or what we're trying, or how the experiment's going. And I always think of my store as a big experiment. So that's like going to be really helpful to look back at the chronicle of those couple of years where there was so much changing and so much going on. And, now here we are like 5 years after I wrote the book in the first place. So I'm a big fan of doing how we do on this podcast, like sharing what's going on from the messy middle. My friend Meg Kissick calls it the messy middle, right? And it's like you don't have all the answers. You don't have the bulletproof, like, this is how I'm going to roll for the rest until the end of time. Like, this is how I'm doing it right now. And here's what's working and here's what's not working. And things inevitably are going to change, right?
Yeah. So now I think we pretty much listed all the challenges that we've had. Onto my next favorite part.
Which is?
The wins and the surprises.
The win! Yeah.
Yeah.
The wins have been fun. Fun.
Glenn, why don't you start? What's wins for you so far? I mean, personally, or as far as the podcast would go that you've been involved with, like, what was, I guess, highlight moments?
Well, the podcast wins. Obviously, episode number 1 is an easy one because that's where we started.
We
but we're
got
not gonna
that
go.
one
That's too
out
easy.
the door.
That's too easy. But eBay Open, I think, was our biggest one, I would say, right? I mean, having our own booth, being able to interview people coming up wondering, who we are, what do we do, just being
or
there.
knowing already, which was super cool. Some people
really cool
who were
too.
like, "Oh my gosh, I've heard every episode." More than one person said that.
And so
It was
I
so
think
great.
eBay Open for sure is just, and meeting people in person, just the whole thing that comes with it.
Right.
I think another win, obviously, is just meeting different businesses and sponsorships that we've had during the time too, companies and people that we've met. Some in person and some just online, and what they're interested in, what we're doing, what we're talking about. And so I think that was a big win as well. I do like my little notes on here too. Of course, like 12 Days of Seller Club, I think was another cool one because it's something totally different as well. I mean, I could keep going, but I'm pretty sure I'm taking a lot of the ones you guys are going to say.
No. You're good.
No? Oh, okay, good.
You can keep going. You did.
Oh, you can keep going.
One of my big ones was eBay Open, but like obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's everybody's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
think
was
it's
like a
probably
pinnacle moment
everybody's.
for us, for sure.
I think another win was just like going back, which I still need to go back, but the goals that we have set for like 2024 and 2025, like I really want to see
Where we're at.
where we're at. Yeah. Did we really hold true to that kind of stuff, or
I
Yeah.
can get that together and
man.
maybe in 105 episode or 110.
Yeah, right. Ken's like, give me a minute.
Because I don't even know what I said.
Yeah, I don't know what we said either. So
We're
I'm a
gonna
little
have to
scared.
we're gonna pull the recording and get the transcript and be like, "Hey, Chat GPT, what did
what
we
were
say?"
my goals?
What did we even talk about there?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interviews are always good too. The interviews and special guests there. Maybe the next 100 will have more special guests. I don't know.
Yep,
know?
yeah.
That we can talk to more about reselling and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really talked to a lot of the YouTubers that I know, but I mean that'd be kind of interesting to see if we could.
Oh yeah.
Bring some of them in too, for the next year. And I would say the last one is like a lot of the mindset ones are always fun because it's not totally about the numbers. It's about you and what you want to do, what your kind of goals are, mindset, all in between. Right. So those are always fun.
Love it. What about you, Ken?
Ooh, other surprises would be, I'm surprised that we've got as many eBay execs, employees, and VPs on our podcast. I think that was, like, if they could just know how much, I guess, ask we have to do in clearance and legal teams and stuff like that has to approve all this, because obviously like they're a giant company, and for us to be selling there and also have the same, it's kind of like a insider kind of feel, right? Like, 'cause we're sellers, technically eBay is the platform that we chose to sell on,
right?
And we get to have a chance to talk to the people that are running the platform. So that was really cool. I think I'm always trying to kind of like squeeze any leadership, tips or just different personalities that I could, I'm just interested with, who these people are, right? And I think that's kind of like my selfish, goal, that I get to come in as a podcast host with Seller Club, that I get to ask my selfish questions, even get to ask people their favorite snacks. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I wonder that sometimes, like, are we just huge nerds, or do a lot of other sellers have that curiosity about the inside of the organization and the individuals? Actually, one of my huge wins on my list is our People Behind the Platform series.
Right.
When we did that and got a lot of the people you're talking about were part of that series, and that was just so cool to me for some of the same reasons.
Yeah.
Just that having that level of access and really getting to know like the amazing human beings that are doing this work. Like, for many years I just felt like eBay was just a big black box. Like, I didn't know how decisions were made, or even how things were organized, or what the considerations were when they made changes on the platform. And like, getting to know the people behind the platform is what helped me understand a lot of that, which just like is really encouraging as a seller, because like you said, we choose to run our businesses on this platform. So it should matter to us, but I don't know if everybody is as curious about it.
I think they are. I mean, if you're as invested, half as invested as we are.
Yeah.
Because, once you start making money,
I
mean, imagine take that money away because the platform that you chose is not doing good or doesn't want you to sell there anymore, so it definitely, I feel like it's kind of just like, your interest definitely is going to be there. I think one of the biggest wins, I mean, like I'm sure we all could agree, is having eBay as our sponsor for the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's one of the things that when we were discussing this, it's like, man, how are we going to fund this? Because it does take time and money to run the podcast. And I remember the first early talks, we were just like, let's draft a proposal. That was...
Gotta shoot your shot. I mean,
and then just like, we got to a point like, how much?
And that was before you were using ChatGPT for everything. So
that was Anna GPT. Really, and I think that was a really big win, and we cannot really thank enough from the people from the eBay community team that really believed in us.
Yeah, they saw the vision.
They
for
saw the
sure.
vision, right? And I think at the end of the day, like, we could have the greatest plan, but if they don't see the vision and what we're trying to accomplish, then it'd be pretty hard to support us monetarily. But
Yeah.
so yep, he's solid, really solid. And I guess, next thing is one of our other solid sponsor, Seller Ledger. I think one of the biggest kind of like win, I think, is I get to personally organize my finances and my books through Seller Ledger, through all the automations that they have in their platform. I just don't advertise it because they are sponsor of the podcast, but I actually subscribed to their service before they became a sponsor. Yeah, so that's I think that's the wins. And I don't know, maybe like I'm at a place right now or where I'm thinking like this ain't winning yet.
Like,
like
that's just the start.
yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, practice round done.
Right. Well, I mean, it has been, fortunately, right, 100 episodes is a lot of time to work out some of
Yeah.
the issues or whatever, but also, and to practice, right? Like, it was really striking to me when we were at eBay Open this year in person, and we had all kinds of different people come through our booth, which was incredible. I actually think another huge win was getting to put other sellers on the podcast for the first time. That was intentional. We haven't always just constantly interviewed other sellers because we're all sellers. But I loved that. And it was so cool to see all these different people from different backgrounds and different roles at eBay Open coming through our booth. And just to see, like, some people are so comfortable and just will jump on the mic and talk. And other people were like, oh, no, I could never do that. And, it really is a skill set. And it's a lot of fun. Like, I think it's one of my favorite things every week is to sit down with you guys and talk. But, yeah, I agree. Like, the best is totally yet to come. And already we've had opportunities and just, I don't know, just like ideas and things come up that I never would have imagined. But one thing always kind of leads to the next. So I really can't wait to see what happens next.
Yep. What about you? I think that was my wins. Any other wins?
I always think it's a huge win when I make Glenn crack up laughing.
Ah.
That's one of my favorite moments on the podcast. And it just happened. So that was a perfect demonstration.
Yeah,
Or,
exactly.
or the surprises that I get to surprise Glenn and Anna that I knew that pop culture reference.
Oh, yeah. That's
And the very few
exactly.
times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The
That
very
is,
few times.
But it's so gleaming and glimmering when it happens.
Yeah, sometimes we're just so on the same page that we know exactly where Anna's going. with
Yeah.
this.
Sometimes.
Sometimes Kenny's like, "What? What is that?"
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It's so funny. It's just like, I think, not to brag about us too much, but I think we do make a great team. We have a lot of various kind of strengths. I don't even want to say weaknesses, but just like strengths and like different personalities, right? Like, we all have some really different aspects when you just compare any two of us. And I feel like that makes for A, interesting conversation and different perspectives, but B, just like really fun chemistry. Like, we can really talk about anything with each other. And I don't know, we're always going to have a lot of angles, I think.
The next is top 5 from each of us.
Right. These are our favorites, but we don't know what each other has chosen. So
I would say that is a good trait that I have. I decide quick. I say that because a lot of times when people have dreams, and I've seen this with a lot of people, they talk about their dreams, right? And then you ask them again, like, where are you at on the dream? And they say like, oh, like, I'm still thinking about it, trying to figure out how to make it happen. And then you come back to them again, like, hey, it's been a year. Where's that dream at? Right? And a lot of times, instead of, I guess Anna could add into it, is the question probably would be, is it human nature that the more you gather information, a lot of it is based on like a survival gathering information, like, hey, what? Then you start playing the what if game, like, what if I fail? What if I lose money? And a lot of that is just like kind of like more on like defense. This decision, you're playing defense when you're trying to make
100%.
and I don't think it's, if you are an entrepreneurial person, if you have a knack for business, you shouldn't prioritize the defensive decision before the making it happen decision, whatever it takes first. I decide yes, and I'll research how to make it happen. A lot of people don't decide, and they research all scenarios.
Yeah.
Like, what if I do this? What if and I think part of my first year was I just decided yes that I was gonna go for 100,000 in the first year, and I didn't know how hard it was until I actually started making it happen. I was like, man, I opened my mouth. That was really big when I saw everybody, because a lot of times those fears come from, oh man, if Glenn couldn't do this, I couldn't do this. Man, I've seen somebody try it and they fail. I couldn't do this. So now they're basing their decisions based on the what ifs that could happen that they've seen around them. And that's totally discounting the hunger and the drive that's within you to succeed. So I would say, don't rely on the external factors when deciding. Rely on the internal factors where whether it's going to be hard or not, do I have it in me that I'm going to stick to this decision? And if you can stick to that decision, you are actually feeding your mind and your psyche that, wait, if I say yes to this, I'm going to make it happen, whatever it takes. So those are the people that actually get things done. But if they keep telling themselves, like, I'm going to do this, and they don't, they're literally tricking themselves. Like, oh, you're a guy that will say this, but that won't do that.
Yeah.
And it's not just going to ruin you internally, it's going to ruin you externally, because now people are going to say, like, oh, you're a fraud. You're not a real thing. So that's my take on that one.
He was a very wise philosopher, and so he is known for contributing to Confucianism, and he has a lot of other great quotes too. But he believed in the inherent goodness of people and the importance of cultivating moral behavior, and so he kind of has this take, right, that you kind of can't do everything well at once. That's kind of another way to say his quote. But I kind of want to pick this apart a little bit because I think there's some really interesting little nuances about this quote, and really it leads to some really good, I think, points of discussion for the way that we live our lives today and the way that we live our lives as business owners and resellers, right? Like, I think there's a lot that we can kind of dig into. So we're going to. You guys down for that?
Let's do it.
Great. Okay. Well, let's just kind of there's two parts of this quote, basically. Two phrases here. So the first part of it says, only when a man will not do some things. And the first thing I thought of when I read that is that kind of implies a choice, right? Like, and that idea of, like, saying it another way, you can't do everything. So why is that, though? Why is it that we can't be capable of doing great things if we refuse to not do some things, right? Like, if we try to do everything, why does that keep us from being capable of being great? Like, what do you think about that?
I think for me is, a growth mentality, I think, is definitely a must-have to dominate. But here's the thing that I've found out recently. Because on the other hand, right, I'm always like, you gotta measure stuff to be able to know growth. But what I found out recently is there are a lot of stuff that can be measured. And are we growing on that area? So I like what Anna said about, like, looking at other people, kind of like, I guess, the random lessons or the random situations that you're in that you find learnings. I am in that mode right now. I'm trying to understand why does this person think this way, instead of just saying, like, oh, he has a nice car, I wonder how much he makes, and I wonder how he got there, right? Because that's really like also too. That's the result, right? But there are other things like, wow, like he is very composed under pressure. How did he come to that? I think those are the two learnings that I've started to realize, that there are metric growth that you need to learn. Hence accounting, you gotta know accounting. Hence the percentage of growth, you gotta be able to compare it. But there are other things that are things that you can't measure, like patience, like composure under pressure, like poise, like
Gratitude.
humility, right? Gratitude, right? Like your relationship. Those are things that you can't measure, right? Like I'm just like, oh man, my relationship is, you don't say like, oh, me and my wife's relationship right now is 9.8 out of 10. Like yeah, we kind of like,
You don't
it doesn't work.
quantify it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, quantify. That's the word. Here's my hot take on the Bolo list. I hate Bolo list. I mean, for real. Like, if there's anything I hate more in business, it's like trying to get a list that will make me successful. I mean, that and here's the reason why. I think Bolo list makes you lazy. It narrows your field of view. It kills random opportunity. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, for using this term, the serendipity of great things and great story happening to you while you're doing this business, I feel like it eliminates those, because I think you're boxing yourself. It doesn't matter if this Bolo list is so big, it's still a box.
This is the second story I've heard about your mom that compels me to be like, man, you had such a great mom. I love that.
No, my mom's really strict. She whipped me up to shape for sure.
But yeah, I also think when you're first starting out, I mean, for me at least, I'll just speak for myself, I was definitely not as efficient as I am now. And I'm not 100% efficient now either, but in some ways I think I'm spoiled by the processes that I kind of have been able to refine and put in place that I now take for granted, Like I was working twice as hard at some things back then, and what could I do with that energy now? If I did have that like initial, like I'm starting out kind of like fire in my soul, which it's just, I still love my business. I love reselling. I don't see myself ever not doing it really, but it isn't the same as starting out from scratch. Like
For sure.
you can't unhave 8 years of experience, right? Like, yeah. So it's all part of it.
I spent $3,600 on ads.
Wow.
Ad fees. I spent $3,600, but if you think about it, out of my selling cost, it's 7% of my selling cost.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you have that much margin that you can give away 7%?
Right.
And if it's a yes, and it brought me 80% more traffic every month, I think it's worth it. Because out of that 80%, at a conversion rate of, let's just say 1%, right? That's definitely gonna be more than what you paid for the ad fees. Let's just talk numbers, right? Like if the 1 million people came through, and I paid fees, 80% of that was promoted people or promoted traffic, right? 800,000 came in. And out of those 800,000, 1% bought. That's, what is that? 80 people? 80 more transactions. No, that's actually 800. 800 more transactions.
Right. And
Now,
what's your ASP?
Right, my ASP is 100. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, there you go.
That's 80,000 more sales.
Yeah.
Now, am I willing to give up 3,600 to get $80,000 more in GMV or
I'm
revenue?
gonna say yes. I'm gonna go with yes.
100% yes.
Yeah, I think especially like in the early days, right, when there were such excitement and what they call like the reseller honeymoon period, that you just can't stop. And you build like habits of always doing it. Like I remember every time I have $200, I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to source. And then when there were times that I didn't have money to source, I actually felt weak. And literally JC called me out like, babe, like just go source because you're down. Like,
Yeah.
Like my mood is really down, especially in the beginning because you're doing it for so long, so often, and the reward's always there. So I was like conditioned by reward, and I felt like I need to do it. If I'm not, then I don't get that reward feeling. So I would say that's really that's when I said like, oh man, like I'm addicted to some stuff because with that feeling.
Think about how much, like, even in our language about reselling, we say things like, oh, it's such a high when I found this item, or like I got my sourcing fix or something like that. It's like got
that
these,
scratch the itch, like
yeah,
that, right?
Like
and,
it's got all these connotations. Like we already talk about it like that.
All right, this is it. Yo, what is up, everybody? Our first episode. Glenn?
Welcome to the club. That's what's supposed to start like.
Yeah.
Man, we need some like fresher beats.
What's your
And,
fresher
That's
beat?
right.
Shout out to
Oh my
Anna
gosh,
P.
we're all here. We're finally doing it, you guys. Well, that was a fun little trip down memory lane.
Yep.
It was fun even going back to figure out what my 5 were. So that was fun to share with you guys. So now we get to look forward, right? We actually were asked this question at eBay Open Live this year by none other than the legendary Andrew
Raven.
Yes, we love you, Andrew. He was asking us what's going to be the next. Well, I guess you can play the clip if you want, Ken.
Yep, here we go.
What are the next 100 episodes of the Seller Club podcast look like? What is next for the pod? What are you thinking? What are your aspirations? Where are you going to grow? Tell me what the listeners should be looking forward to.
So we have to answer that question because he put us on the spot, and now we've had
Yep.
time to think about it. And so I have some like predictions. And I guess the way I thought of my predictions for this are what are we going to do more of and what are we going to do less of? Not that you guys have to think of it the same way, but let's talk about that. What do you think the next 100 episodes hold?
Yeah, let's do like a round table. So we all give, one each and we kind of bounce off of it.
Okay.
Let me start with my role as a technical director of this show.
Producer and editor.
Yeah, so I want to have more like cool soundtrack beats, maybe songs, moving forward for the next 100. Like been messing with technology, aka AI, and we actually could produce songs and music and beats now. So as much as I wanted to create it like manually or
Like old school because
Old
you are a
school,
musician.
yeah, it's just so time consuming, but with the technology nowadays, it's like it's still very tweakable and change layers and stuff like that. So kind of like I haven't, maybe like in just the sphere of podcasts that I've been listening to, it seems like everybody's still using kind of like a standalone soundtrack that they have. But if you guys have noticed, our soundtrack and intro beats changes with the mood or whoever the host is.
Right.
So been
Yeah,
playing
Ken
around.
likes to profile us and our music preferences.
Yeah. well, which is I think it's a cool in for a lot of people. It's like, wait, I personally never thought Glenn
You're
was.
like,
I
who's
never
that?
thought Glenn
Who's
was
the
a
banjo?
No, I never expected this that Glenn was a Metallica guy, like at all. At all, it's like, I guess maybe because he never really added that in his vlogs on YouTube and stuff like that. So, so that's kind of like a interesting insider knowledge that people get to share with us. So I think that's one. Cooler soundtracks. Definitely looking to upgrade audio mics. Been researching on mics, and we're still. I think the next 100, we're still, I think, on the fence. It depends on, like how we have collectively agree on it. Does it stay audio only, or do we open
Right.
it up to certain episodes doing videos as well?
Yeah.
And we've had a conversation. So definitely there's going to be upgrade on audio quality, soundtracks.
So if you'd like to sponsor the Seller Club podcast, please reach out. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. 'Cause I
Ken's
think-
not kidding.
I'm not kidding because
New mics are
it-
expensive.
new mics and new cameras, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're, the camera that I use is, like not everybody have it, like, so we have to invest in that. So we have to try and, again, the next 100 will be a trial of trying to level up, try to never settle. So that's kind of like my one of top of mind in the next 100.
Love that.
I mean, I could see the next 100 definitely being, well, I mentioned this earlier though, but like more interviews, and more community. I think what Anna was saying too, it's just kind of difficult on the community side because, I mean, meeting someone in person for eBay Open, but we don't really get to do that on a weekly, monthly basis to kind of check up on,
Or maybe we can.
or maybe we can. You see, meeting people in person like that is
Not
is something
against
that-
it.
could also be part of the next 100 as well. So maybe interviews has to be not just on the podcast, but in person as well. So could be a combination of both, but I think that's definitely something we can see for the next 100.
Yeah. I think I agree with all those so far. I also think that in spite of ourselves, we will continue to compare the weather where we are because we're in 3 very different locations. I guess Ohio and Illinois aren't that different, but our weather is different sometimes, and we're
different, for
always
sure.
shocked
Yeah.
by that for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's far enough, right?
Yeah.
But I think no matter what, we'll still probably talk about that and our snacks. I also think we will continue to set goals like out loud in public in this forum. I think we will continue to grow our businesses and, regularly check in with each other. Those are some things that I just feel like are part of our usual fabric of our episodes, and I think we'll keep doing that stuff. I also hope we do have some more like really fun partnerships because, all of the sponsors that we've had have been things that we really believe in, that we used ourselves, and that had made our reselling lives easier and better and more profitable. So if we can find more things like that we can partner with, I think that's great. I'm definitely game to keep sharing those things, and I think we're all pretty committed to like we only share the stuff that we personally would endorse and do endorse. Right. So you can trust that if we're recommending it, like we mean it. Yep. And I always appreciate that. Like as a podcast listener to other podcasts, I always appreciate when that's the case. I'm also hoping that we do get to do more live podcasting. And I'm also hoping that with that comes more opportunities for fun, bespoke merch for the Seller Club podcast because that has been so fun.
That's actually a win that we forgot to mention.
That's true. We have some really cool merch.
Yeah, I mean, we have, I guess,
swag, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, just our merch, our T-shirt, aka also long sleeve. We have 2 designs that we collab with eBay.
Yep.
That's
that was
huge.
really fun.
I mean, who's like the only people that I know that has had collabs basically were artists that have designed shoes for people like in the sneaker space. I've seen, like events, like in-person big events, and then there's Seller Club.
And then there's us. I know. And, not to be biased, but our in-house graphic designer, John Packer, is amazing. And I love the stuff that he's made for us. It's been so cool to see that come to life. And, so I hope we get to do more of that in the future, and that there is an in-person component so we can all enjoy that together in person. And Glenn, no pressure, but I also hope we do more Hustler Hacks episodes. I would like to kick up the frequency of those. If I can go ahead and request that formally.
No, I think we could
because I love those ones.
No, I think one of the things that I've thought of too, the next 100 episode, like anything else, we try to be as flexible as we can. But I think one of the things that I guess, in the later, once we got busy, the schedule just went, like crazy, up and down. So I think once we, with 100 episodes experience already, maybe just, better segment planning. I think that's one of the things, right? Like, we've talked about like Hustler Hacks episode, mindset episode. I mean, if we kind of have like a structure around it, more, I guess a more rigid structure and still flexible,
right?
And I think we would be able to inject a lot of those stuff. I do agree with the in-person. And here's the thing, like, I haven't told you guys this, but here's
a surprise right here.
If and when we get people on the pod, I really would like it to be in person.
Yeah.
I think there's just a different
energy
feel to it, or energy, right?
Yeah.
And there's a better pre-talk and a post-talk. I think I like that feeling because, ultimately my goal is really to build a network around Seller Club podcast, and it's really hard to network across screens.
Yep.
And the content that we want to deliver is as much as we want it to be as authentic as it is. And part of being authentic is really getting to know the personality of the person behind the other mic, which I think has kind of like blossomed well for all three of us because we've just been spending time. But when we just literally ask somebody to hop on and there's really no context or no vibe, it's really hard to get it going, unless it's a 4-hour podcast like Joe Rogan does. Then that would be really hard.
Which, like, tough. Buckle your seatbelt.
Yeah,
that would be exhausting.
And that's the only time. And if you think about it, the most successful podcasts, they only do it in person. Did you guys know that?
No.
It's never been through air. Like, it's never been through like different. It's always been in the same room.
Oh. Yeah, it's just a different feeling in the same room. I mean, you could just...
You're just trying to get Glenn to move to Ohio.
That too.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I already know. I already know what this is about.
We'll build a podcast room in Ohio,
Oh, see? Now we're talking.
As long as nobody next door has a lawn that has to get cut, great.
Like
one of those weird bugs that you told me in that one.
Oh,
cicadas?
Like cicadas?
Yeah.
Oh,
no bugs.
boy.
No bugs.
No, let's not. Let's not with the bugs.
It'll be
less bugs in the next.
It'll definitely be a
episodes.
sound. Yeah, it'll be a soundproof room that we all can scream and there won't be any noise. Nobody would hear us from that. It'd be just a Royal Rumble inside, just screaming at each other, and
it's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So.
Well, no. I think it's interesting what you're saying about more structure, because I don't really think the opposite of that, but when we very first started, we had a lot more structure.
Yeah, because we were like scared the crap out of how to get
like,
things on track.
Right, like, and I have found that, and maybe this is partially my fault since I'm, a co-founder of this creative endeavor, but with almost every creative project I've done, I always start with a lot more structure because it's a starting point,
Yeah.
And then as you go, you figure out your voice, you figure out what works, what doesn't work, and you inherently build up kind of like the skill set of how you do whatever that thing is. And in this case, it's podcasting. So I feel like not that we are at the point where we could or should just like show up and entirely wing it. Like I like having the forethought and having the structure that is flexible, but I do think I'm not surprised at all, I guess, that we somewhat drifted from the very rigid structure we started with because we don't really need it anymore. Like, we had that structure there for our own kind of comfort and direction. And now we don't need as much reassurance or direction because we like know what we're doing. Like, we know who we are. We have our voice figured out to a larger extent, at least. So, of course, they'll keep changing. But, I think we can be like more intentional with our structure, but maybe with different motives, right? Like, we don't need it for ourselves to rely on to make sure we're doing the podcast that we want to do. Like, we already are doing it. So we know how to do that part, you know?
Exactly.
Next 100. What else?
What else would Andrew want to know if he were asking us this question again?
I do like the...
Oh, I know. Yeah,
What?
we'll have Andrew back on the podcast for sure in the next 100.
The next 100, yeah. We gotta ask him how we're doing.
What and which number? If he has a favorite number,
we'll go there. Like in the next 100 episode, his favorite number, he's in there.
Right.
Okay, I like that.
Maybe he wants like 111 or something.
Yeah.
Or if he wants one.
Too late. We already did that one. Oh, 101. Yeah, we can give him 101.
You get
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Is he busy this week?
Yeah,
Gotta
we'll
get
see.
him on here real quick.
No, I mean, I think the next 100, I think, will be another documentation of how, which I actually didn't know this until Glenn mentioned it, that the 100th episode was actually basically a giant story of how we've overcame different challenges between our individual businesses, right? So like we have challenges as a podcast group, and then we have individual challenges as a business owner.
So many challenges,
that we get to document, and you know, a lot of times, a lot of the challenges that we're telling on the air are challenges that we just heard from each other.
For sure.
That time, you know, it's like
we're like, first I'm hearing of it, Glenn.
No, I remember when he said he hired somebody, right? I was like, whoa, okay.
Ken felt betrayed. How did I not know about this?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Why did I not get hired?
I mean, that's how we have to keep the show authentic. Like, we're not pre-discussing what we're going to talk about.
No, yeah, and I think there's going to be more of that. So I think that's the cool part about it, that it will be a long Solo Club story, and at the same time individual stories that we are just sharing as a business owner. So I think that's going to be the next 100. I think that's something that will continue to be shared, which is going to be exciting and fun.
Yeah, I also hope that as we hopefully have even more and more ways to infuse the back and forth with the community into what we do with the podcast, I hope that we can be really responsive to that, right? Like, I wonder all the time, like, what are people who are listening to this doing while they're listening? Are they commuting somewhere? Are they shipping stuff? You know, how do we
listing?
Yeah, they better be listing. How do we like fit into their life as a seller and as a person? And, you know, how can we kind of serve them better in whatever capacity they're putting us in? Like, I just think that's interesting. I always want to know about that when I talk to people who listen to the show. So,
what about let's have like a wish. What's our big wish? Or like, what's the shooting for the stars moment for the next 100th episode? I'm putting you guys on the spot. This
the
is
200th
not
episode.
the next 100. That's gonna happen on the next 100.
Oh gosh.
What are like kind of like wow moments and wow factors that could happen, and we want it to happen within the next 100.
I would say something to do with eBay. eBay Open we've done, but what could be done next? And I feel like we have different ideas that we can kind of throw around. But like you said, there's a lot of logistics that come with it on who we kind of talk to, what our idea looks like, what that plan looks like.
For sure.
But I would like something huge with eBay.
Whoa.
That's my wish. Like a wish upon a star.
I'm putting you on it.
It makes no difference who you are.
Exactly.
Okay.
What about Kenny?
I
got one over his head.
No,
Sorry,
what was
sorry,
that?
Ken.
What was that?
Oh,
What
you
was
want
that?
Ken to finish it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pop culture reference.
No, I don't get it.
It's okay.
What was it?
It's the "Wish Upon a Star" like song from Disney.
Oh, okay.
When
Yeah,
you
like
wish upon a star.
And he's like,
Let's see.
you can use that audio though.
He's like, yeah. No, I don't. I
whatever.
don't think you probably shouldn't use that audio. It's probably copyrighted.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
I know what I want.
What?
Get the CEO on the podcast. eBay CEO Jamie Iannone on the podcast.
That would be awesome.
Oh,
Can it be done? I believe so.
I bet
ha-
it can.
it can.
I feel like,
It can.
in my limited
It will.
experience, it can and it will.
And it will.
Jamie is really easy to talk with. I think he'd be awesome on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I wish, I don't know, kind of a couple things.
Okay.
One thing that just has been in the back of my mind, this was not something we ever discussed with eBay. It just happened adjacent to us, right? Being a sponsored podcast. But when the eBay for Business podcast went away, a lot of sellers were really sad about that. And they listen to it all the time, including me. I love that podcast. And several people just kind of assumed, oh, are you guys going to be the new eBay for Business podcast? And we were like, no, like we're a totally separate entity. Like one doesn't really have anything to do with the other, except that we like love Griff, but it didn't. We were just two separate projects, totally separate, not in the same track at all. But I do wonder, I mean, eBay, as far as I know, isn't producing any in-house podcast anymore at this moment. And I wonder, like, about that. If there is a role for us as podcasters with eBay, that's something beyond a sponsored podcast. I don't know.
Maybe we actually create the eBay or continue the eBay podcast.
Yeah. But also, like, I understand that there's a value to us. Like, yes, we're sponsored, but we're still like an independent project, and maybe there are things about that we'd prefer. I don't know. I don't know what the difference would be. But that has just like been in the back of my mind ever since, people were first asking us that when eBay for Business announced that it was going to be ending. So I've like echoed that question myself, I guess. Like, is that a pathway? Like, is there some collaboration there that I haven't thought of? Because frankly, so many of the cool things I've gotten to do with eBay and that we as a podcast have gotten to do with eBay have been things I never would have thought of. So I think there will be plenty of stuff to blow our minds in the next 100 episodes. But my like dream would be to do like a live show. Like a live show.
A live podcast.
A live podcast that's topical. The three of us on a stage with a huge audience where we get to engage with the audience. We get to sell our merch or whatever. And we get to have like a really fun, interactive, like live show on a stage. Like, I think that's
actually cool.
I think it's so fun. I've been to something like that as an audience member at a live show
like,
podcast, and it was a total blast. I loved it.
One of the person that I think I've gravitated to when this happens is Chase Jarvis. Did you? I don't know. This was before our podcast. Glenn, you remember that when he does an interview, he has live audience. When they record a podcast, there's people.
Like
so
a
that's
live studio audience.
Yeah, it's a live studio audience that in the very end they get to ask questions and obviously that wasn't shown on the podcast, so that was kind of like it was like a double feature, right? So you have a podcast that you get to record, everybody gets to listen, kind of like what you're trying to say, that it's gonna be like a more of like a keynote or like a workshop.
Like you're
through
still
the podcast, right?
doing the show, but then maybe there's Q&A at the end, or there's
so
let the audience stand up and tell their story or whatever. Like, it's
I
so
think
fun.
I like that. I remember my brain's already like trying to loop into the technicalities of how we could get audios and everything like that. So it's gonna have to be in a studio.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like some newscasting studio. Or something like that.
I mean,
we take over like Fox Studios or something like that, like whatever studios that's available. And
the one that I went to was basically in like a performing arts center, like on a regular stage where you'd see like a band or a musical and an orchestra, and then there's a wired up mic in the audience in the aisle, and people can walk up to it and talk. I mean, like an auditorium type of thing.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of ways to do it, but
Glenn's probably thinking an NFL stadium. Maybe under
Glenn,
maybe under 1,000.
What type of what type of facility would be able to hold all of your YouTube subscribers?
Oh.
How big of a space do we need?
It had
for
to be
that?
a college stadium, probably
Yeah.
Ohio State or Michigan stadium. 100
See,
something.
I told you he's trying to get you to Ohio.
112,000.
Still trying.
Still, we could
112,000.
go Ohio.
That's a pretty good carrot. That's a good carrot.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Well,
agree.
do we have any other shooting for the stars
Uh,
for the podcast?
oh, what about like I want some like apparel or sneaker brand to get onboarded for the choice of Seller Club studio. Maybe Nike, maybe Jordan, maybe Nike and Nike or Nike.
Perhaps Nike, or Nike.
Yeah. Or
That'd be
I guess
fun.
we'd have to start with Adidas.
We
if
could
have
do
to, I
we
guess.
could do a Jordan episode, and we could have Jordan sweeten them from eBay and Jordan like the brand.
Or Michael Jordan.
We could Oh, absolutely, Michael Jordan.
I wonder if that's one
He's
thing.
in Illinois.
We have he lives in North Carolina.
Oh, does he? Oh,
Yeah.
he did live in
'Cause
Illinois,
He did, yeah, when he was playing.
and then he wised up. Just kidding. I love you, Illinois. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I do love North Carolina too.
What I think the other one is like I want to be able to interview either like a known CEO besides Jamie, right? Like maybe like I'm just shooting for the stars now, like Google CEO, something like that. Or
Why?
like
About what?
It's just scaling. I'm interested on how they get to scale that big. Or okay, that's relevant to the podcast. I want to interview a big podcaster.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do.
Huh? That you
That we
can do?
Yeah.
Glenn's ready to sign up on that one.
I want a comedian.
I love comedians.
Like a Trevor Noah kind of comedian, or Fluffy.
Yeah, I remember Fluffy.
Or Joe Coy or something like that. Something fun.
Start reaching out.
I will.
Get
we
on
have to,
it.
We have to attend. We have to watch their show first, and
Like
network.
their specials.
Yeah, we gotta network.
Yeah.
You gotta be prepared.
You never know. eBay has a connection to everybody, you guys.
Oh, 100%.
I'm
yeah.
just saying. Like,
Yeah.
not saying that we'd have to go through eBay to reach those people, but like they probably
You-
sold something on eBay before and are like, "Oh, I love selling on eBay," and you
Yeah,
just
it's
never,
like,
you would
yeah.
never even know.
It's like, oh, Seller Club podcast. We'll send them there to interview and tell your story.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. Well, if that happened, we would do it for sure.
Well, that was all our plans and our wishes and our shooting for the stars. What do you guys think?
That was the last 100 episodes, guys. I think
All
we
in all.
have a solid 100 under our belt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about the next 100.
And also, we want to give a huge shout out to everybody that listens to this podcast. This podcast wouldn't be here without you guys and the community that we are trying to build and be a part of and help at the same time and inspire each other. So we want to do something a little special. I think it'll be a little bit extra special.
Pretty special.
It'll be pretty special. And as you guys have heard, that we have discussed that we do have some pretty cool merch and some different swags, and we have some eBay swags as well. We want to give out this really good deal for you guys. And we're only doing this just for the ease of mailing addresses. So Anna, why don't
Seriously.
you explain how they could take advantage of this basically celebration swag and promo?
It is a celebration. We're going to have several different kind of listings. They're going to be in my eBay store. Anna finds everything.
All you have to do is use the code SELLERCLUB.
You can get any of our swag that we have for Seller Club and the bundles and stuff that we're going to put together for $1 and free shipping. So that code will bring your price down to $1.
Yep.
And that's really just so we can like process it and ship it out to you.
Normally it would be $100 for all this pack, but
Yeah.
wait, there's more. If you use the Seller Club podcast code, it will be only $1 free shipping.
And as always, we want to give a huge thank you to our sponsors, eBay. We encourage you to obviously sell on eBay like we do, and follow them on Instagram at eBay for Sellers. There's always great content coming out there. And also Seller Ledger, who keeps our books straight for us and automates all of our financial stuff and keeps the train on the tracks. So you can follow them on Instagram as well at Seller Ledger. You can try their product for 30 days for free. You don't even have to put in a credit card. And it's seriously amazing. Everybody I know that I've personally recommended to it has been like, wow, where was this? I needed this for the whole time I've had my business, and I'm so glad I started using it. So, and me included. So that's it for now.
Episode 100, that is a wrap, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.
Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everybody? Welcome. Drop that beat. Yeah. Welcome to the kingdom. 3 mics, 1 dream. Yeah. We go all in. Seller Club podcast. Yeah. Let the story begin. Now, yeah, welcome to the club. Yeah, we hustle, we vibe by. Where it's sellers unite, ride. From zero to something, brick by brick, no bluff. We never lose, we only learn. That's enough. Drop that beat. Welcome to the club. Drop that beat. Big. Started with a convo, let's go. Long talks, big dreams, mics on low. Episode 1, just a spark in the night. From the beginning, we were ready to fight. 2,000 listings, 10,000 strong. Flipping sneakers and vintage all along. Same language, thrift to retail. Different lanes, same grind, same trail. Every week a story, every line a win. Learning from the hustle, where we've been. How can the hustle be? That's the vibe. Playing with the flow and with the tribe. Them raising kills them and not any facts. Sellers help sellers, no cap on the tracks. From outlet lines to eBay live. This is where the community comes alive. Yeah, we laugh, we learn, we built from scratch. eBay dreams in a podcast batch. If you're sacrificing family, then it's backwards. Real talk, no filters, no actors. From basement dreams to stages we claim. One vision, one heartbeat, one name pay. From 7 a.m. calls to late night edits. Being a G strong, we don't need credits. This is the beginning, the roots run deep. I promise we planted a harvest to keep. Not just talk, this a movement fan. Seller Club forever, that's the chant. Every moment, every line, every show. Built on hustle, that's how we grow. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo, yo. Drop that beat, we out, bye. That's it. Big W, we fly. Seller Club, never say goodbye. Seller Club, hey. 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 Welcome to the club. Yeah, we hustle, we vibe live. Where the sellers unite, thrive. From zero to something, brick by brick, no bluff. We never lose.